Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs Film, and this is going to be a top 10 of movies that you can watch right now on Amazon Prime US for the month of February 2019. So let's get started. Number 10, Torso. Someone is strangling co-eds in Perugia. The only clue is that the killer owns a red and black scarf, and police are stumped. American exchange student Jane and her friends decide to take a break from classes by going up to Danielle's uncle's villa in the country. Unfortunately, the killer decides to follow and the women begin suffering. Torso is a fantastic giallo. It starts off the typical way that most of them do, with you have these people just being killed in brutal fashion, and it does really go for the kind of down and dirty kills here. But this one has something a little bit special, and that is the final third of the movie. Much of it is played out in silence as the killer is around about this house. Unbeknownst to him, there is one girl who is hiding out that he doesn't know is there, and it becomes a kind of cat and mouse movie, and it is edge of the seat, thrilling, really tense, really suspenseful, and truly fantastic, and worth checking this movie out just for that scene alone. Number 9, The Virgin Suicide. The Lisbon sisters seem to have it all until one of the sisters commits suicide. Their parents become strict until Lux ruins that for herself and her sisters. They are soon taken out of school, not able to communicate with the opposite sex, and soon take a wrong turn which turns fatal. Sofia Coppola's debut is a movie that I still love to this day. Came out in 1999 and I think it is absolutely fantastic. It's timeless, capturing a period of time with these characters, with the gents and the boys that are infatuated with this girls, how they deal with their sexuality and being locked up in the house. It's just a truly fantastic movie, told really well with terrific performances. Number 8, STAKELAND. Martin was a normal teenage boy before the country collapsed in an empty pit of economic and political disaster. A vampire epidemic has swept across what is left of the nation's abandoned towns and cities, and it's up to Mr., a death-dealing rogue vampire hunter, to get Martin safely north to Canada, the continent's new Eden. I think STAKELAND is fantastic and one of my favourite vampire movies this century. The main character of Mr., this vampire hunter, is truly fantastic and has very strong vein of Snake Plissken throughout that, that kind of silent man who can handle himself, is extremely deadly and is just moving forward constantly, bit like a shark. He takes Martin under his wing, shows him how to survive and just tries to get him from A to B. There is some fantastic twists and turns along the way. The movie looks great, and there is this inclusion of a cult of humans that worship the vampires, which is a nice little twist, something different, and this movie is something different. It's a road movie, vampire movie, and it works. It works really well. Number 7, The Ghost in the Darkness. Sir Robert Beaumont is behind schedule on a railroad in Africa. Enlisting noted engineer John Henry Patterson to right the ship, Beaumont expects results. Everything seems great until the crew discover the mutilated corpse of the project's foreman, seemingly killed by a lion. After several more attacks, Patterson calls in famed hunter Charles Remington, who has finally met his match with the bloodthirsty lions. Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer are the two leads here in this early turn of the 19th century terrific tale. It is all about, well, these lions are killing people. They're hunting for the fun, for the pleasure of it, and these hunters are trying to take them down, but these seem to be a little bit smarter than your average animal, taking the men out, working together as a team with deadly force. This is one of the most terrific movies that seems to have been lost to time. Nobody seems to talk about it, and I'm here to make a point that you should check out The Ghost in the Darkness. It is truly a wonderful tale, really well told, just awesome all round. Number 6, Total Recall. Douglas Quaid is a bored construction worker in the year 2084 who dreams of visiting the colonised Mars. He visits Recall, a company that plants false memories into people's brains in order to experience the thrill of Mars without having to travel there. But something goes wrong. During the procedure, Quaid discovers that his entire life is actually a false memory, and that the people who implanted it in his head now want him dead. Paul Verhoeven's twisting, turning, fantastic movie of the 90s starring Arnold Schwarzenegger is still a marvel today. It still holds up incredibly well thanks to the use of lots of practical effects. and that twisting, turning narrative that it has that really keeps you on the edge of the seat. Is it all a dream? Is it not? It never gives you a firm conclusion, and I think that's what makes it last. You know, you can interpret it any way you want, and I think it is a fantastic movie. I think the special effects, some of them are a little dated, but most of them really hold up fantastically well, and this is just a great tale and way better than the remake. We won't talk about that. Number 5, Silver Bullet. The small town of Tarker's Mills was a place that was very peaceful, where nothing extraordinary ever happened, until one night when murders began. The townspeople believe it's some maniac killer on the loose whom they intend to hunt down. Marty, a young handicapped boy, believes the killer is no man, but a werewolf. After a run-in with the werewolf, Marty and his sister Jane hunt all over for town for the man who is the wolf. Corey Haim is Marty in this fantastic Stephen King adaptation that I've always loved. I discovered this when I was a young boy, and one of my main things I love about it is the fact that no one is safe. You have Marty, who you're kind of sure is going to make it to the end, but everybody around about him, his sister, his family members, they could all die in this movie. Some of them actually do. It doesn't feel safe like most movies. You know, you feel there's a constant threat here. There's a nice twist in the mystery, and there is some fantastically tense, suspenseful scenes, and this is another one that if you've never seen, you've got to check it out. Number 4, Deep Red. A psychic who can read minds picks up on the thoughts of a murderer in the audience and soon becomes a victim. An English pianist gets involved in solving the murders but finds many of his avenues of inquiry cut off by new murders, and he begins to wonder how the murderer can track his movements so closely. Deep Red is a movie that I've just recently discovered, and I think it may be the best giallo I have ever seen, full of fantastic set pieces, a really good mystery that are tied all together. A thing with giallos is they just kind of throw in a reveal at the end of who the killer is, and you just take it for granted and it doesn't tie up. This one ties together with a fantastic story. The kill scenes are varied, different, horrific, horrible. There's one where somebody gets drowned in boiling water, which is particularly nasty, but there are nastier ones in it as well. This is one of these movies that, if you're looking for a footstep into giallo, this is probably one of the best ones that I could recommend for you to check out. It is so much fun, so interesting, captivating, and well worth checking out. Number 3, Annihilation. A biologist husband disappears. She puts her name forward for an expedition into an environmental disaster zone, but does not realise what she is about to find out. The expedition team is made up of a biologist, an anthropologist, a psychologist, a surveyor, and a linguist. Alex Garland's follow-up to Ex Machina is tremendous. It's one of those movies where he's been given budget because he was successful and he just goes for it, creating a crazy story that should probably never get made within the studio system, but thankfully he managed to make this one of the best science fiction movies of recent years, with terrific performances, thematics, and an interesting tale to tell. I love the finale. I love some of the haunting scenes that are in this movie, particularly the bear sequence, which is just so inventive and horrifying at the same time. If you didn't check out Annihilation, now's the time. Number 2, 8th Grade. An introverted teenage girl tries to survive the last week of her disastrous 8th grade before leaving to start high school. 8th Grade was a movie that I found uncomfortable to watch because I was so in tune with the main character. I could feel her awkwardness creeping out of the screen into me, her anxious behaviour and the way she felt uncomfortable in her own skin was something I could relate to, something I could really feel for, and I felt for this character. You know, when you know deep down that this is just a really bad time in her life. School isn't really for her. She's going to shine elsewhere in her life if she can just get through this, and you feel so much for the character. It's such a true and honest portrayal of someone at that age, and I think it is a truly remarkable debut movie for its director, Bo Burnham. Number 1, Leave No Trace. After living off the grid in Oregon for years, traumatised military veteran Will and his teenage daughter Tom are picked up by social services and forced to integrate back into society. When Tom begins to connect with others and thrive, Will struggles and attempts to avoid his demons by escaping back into the wild. Leave No Trace is a wonderful movie with terrific performances and a tale that kept defying the way I thought it was going to go. You know, they get caught early on, you think this is going to happen, it takes a practical route and turns into something far more different, more rewarding, more interesting. The tale of this father and daughter and how their relationship works and doesn't at points is just truly marvellous. And the movie leaves you with a fitting and rather emotional ending that is not a happy one, but a fitting one for this tale, which is very hard to pull off. So there we have it, 10 movies for you to watch this month. I hope you found something there that you're going to enjoy and check out. If there's any recommendations for me, let them know in the comment box below, and I will see you next month on Man vs Film.